If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I'm sure everyone remembers that song from our childhood. And I don't think this was a thing when I was a kid, but at least as a teacher, when I was a teacher and I taught this song, there were multiple verses in which you went through all of the emotions, not just happy. If you're sad and you know it, cry boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Or if you're angry and you know it, stomp your feet. Right? And we use this as a way to teach emotions to children. So this week we're talking about happy. And, my stance has been for a long time, but especially this month that we've been talking about emotions, is that happy isn't the goal. Happy, I think we've been taught and raised to kind of only express or experience happiness. And that's not the reality of life. That's not the reality of being human. That's not the reality of any of it. And not only that, but it's not the goal. It's not what we want. I was thinking about the movie Inside Out. It's a kids movie, of course, and and in that movie, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a Disney Pixar movie, and in that movie, there's a little girl, and we see her insides. We see all of her emotions, and so she has five primary emotions. They are happy, or joy, rather, joy, sad, or sadness, disgust, anger, and I believe, fear. Fear is the last one. And each one of these emotions, she has a control station in her mind. And so only one emotion can control the station at once. And she's a tween. I think she's like 11 or 12. They move away. They move from her home to San Francisco. Everything's different. Everything's falling apart. And you watch this whole movie. But what I love is at the end, so this is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see it, turn this off now, go watch the movie and come back. But at the end, she all of a sudden realizes that you can have multiple emotions at once. And throughout the movie, Joy, who is personified, right, as this very bubbly, light yellow character. But Joy is constantly trying to put sadness, this blue, mopey character, away. She's trying to set her aside and make it so that she's not hurting anything. And all of a sudden, there's this moment in the movie where Joy realizes the benefits of sadness. And how sadness is so profoundly helpful. In Atlas of the Heart, the book that I'm reading by Brene Brown, the book that we're studying all month long, she talks about that happiness or joy, or, some people separate those two things out, but for the sake of this, we're just going to say happiness. Happiness is where we go to find ourselves. And yet sadness is where we go to find one another. Sadness is where we connect to our own humanity. So I know this week we're talking about if you're happy and you know it. And as y'all know, we are doing the wheel spin. So who knows what we're actually going to be talking about next week. And yet, I also love like these balloons behind me, right? I picked them because they're happy and they are light. But if you look, some of the balloons are sad. And, it's a mark, this sort of idea of bittersweet, or this idea of being able to hold multiple emotions at once. This is a high level, a high emotional intelligence ability. And it's something that we all have. It comes into play around puberty, that we can understand the idea that things can be happy and sad all at once, or they can be, good and hard, or whatever these paradoxes are. We talked some about paradoxes today, and I think it's just such a rich topic that even when we are happy, that there might be other emotions too, and that's okay. Or perhaps we have this underlying joy, and yet overarching all of it is grief or sadness or whatever it might be. And it's okay to feel all of these emotions. It's okay to just be whatever we are and to allow ourselves to be fully, fully human. So I love you all, and I'll see you next week.